Hello, everybody out there. I certainly hope you have been having an incredible day or night, whatever time you're watching. This is Dr. G, your Success Psychologist, coming to you to help you reprogram your mind so that you can understand and get to your level of success. The psychology of success. I am so excited each and every time that I come before you to bring you some information, some stuff that I'm sure you haven't heard about. Well, as you know, if you've been watching my videos, my background is a teacher. I started out as a school teacher years and years ago. And since then, I have taught people all over the world because what I do and what I'm called to do is to help you create your success and to get to your destiny. Today, we're going to be talking about something you probably never heard about. Exciting your brain. Yes, I'm going to help you understand how to excite your brain to get it to that place that it can attract and draw success into your life. And you go, well, Dr. G, the brain? Yes, I've been studying and researching the brain for over 25 years. I have been, when I tell you, the brain and the mind, and which those are two different things, by the way. But today we're not going to focus on that. I'm going to teach you what you need to know about the brain. We are going to study 3 different parts of the brain. I want to help you understand this organism up here that controls every part of your being. If you want to have success, you have to understand how your brain works. And guess what? You're going to have to know how to get it excited. Because right now, some of you may be scrolling on YouTube, trying to find something that excites you, that gets you going, that gives you those feelings. But before we get into all that, make sure you like this and subscribe and share. And to find out more information about me, go to drgladney.com. That's drgladney.com. And you can find a lot of information and resources, some of which I'm telling you about each and every episode. So, the brain, we're going to focus on 3 parts. There are many parts of your brain. There's a lot of stuff out there, but I want to focus on the frontal lobe, which is where the thinking happens. The hippocampus is where your memory is, and the limbic portion is where your emotions are. Now, in order for you to understand your brain and to be able to draw success into your life, you got to know how it works. A part of what I did when I was in school and working on my doctorate degree and understanding human behavior, understanding you and how you operate, and understanding me and how I operate and how our brain functions, I studied a lot about the cognitive processes. Cognition is how the brain and we process information, how you take that in. Right now, as you're watching this, I understand what your brain is doing. So I want to help you understand what your brain is doing so you can get it excited. So we're going to be talking about 3 cognitive processes. And guess what? The school teacher's in the house because I have a tablet that's going to help you. Remember, I said to always have a pencil and a pen and a piece of paper. That's the old-fashioned way. Take notes on your phone, however you want to do this, but it's so much better when you write it down because remember I said when you write it down, you write it into your brain. So we're going to be talking about 3 different types of cognitive process. The first one that I'm going to talk to you about is perception. Perception. That's the first thing. When your brain sees some information, it takes it in. It's millions of pieces of stimuli that's going on right now. And then your brain, first of all, it has to perceive and organize all of this stuff. So when you walk into a place, and what that means is the organization of the stimuli of what's going on, what you see that's around you, what you smell, what you hear, what you can touch, what you can sense, all of those things. And so let me give you an example. Say, for instance, when you walk we just went to the fair not too long ago here in Texas, the Texas State Fair. When you walk in there, your senses are going crazy. Your perception is going crazy because your mind and your brain is taking in so much. You have the smells of so many different types of food. You have all of the noise around you of everybody and everything that's happening. And you could see so much stuff happening. Thousands and bits of pieces of information that's going on simultaneously. You can touch and feel things. And so everything around you, your brain is trying to put all of those pieces of everything together. And actually, this is the part of the cognitive process when your brain also can let you know, it talks to your organs and it says, hey, I'm hungry. And guess what? When you smell that food, sometimes you can feel like, oh, I'm not hungry. But you smell some food and you're like, that smells good. You know what? I think I can eat. All of that is happening as your brain is doing this work and it's trying to put this all together. So the first step of the cognitive process that we're talking about is perception. It has to perceive and organize all the stimuli. The next one is something that you all have been taught all your life and been told: attention. You need to pay attention. Attention is the next step of the cognitive process that your brain has to do. So your brain is saying, okay, I'm sensing all of these things, but now what am I going to pay attention to? So are you going to pay attention to the smells that you smell and follow that? We're still on the example of the state fair. Are you going to follow that? Because the smells you're smelling are food and, it's saying, oh yeah, let me go find this good smell. Or am I paying attention and shifting the energy over into what I see? And, oh, that right over there looks fun, or that looks like something that I want to do, or something else that I want to explore. So now, whenever your brain is paying attention to something, it has organized it. And now it's going to give attention. It's going to be either short attention or long attention. Whenever it goes through the attention phase, the next phase is something that we all need to work on. Your memory. Number 3 is your memory. So, in the memory, after you have organized and you have perceived and you have a perception of what's going on, organized all the stimuli, you've paid attention, it goes into a memory. So now it can be a short-term memory or a long-term memory. And I want you to kind of think of this also like how a computer works, because you have short-term memory and you store it in the hard drive of your computer. So if you think about it like this, everything that you're looking at does create some type of memory. Some memories you can remember and some you can't. The reason that you can't remember them because you didn't pay enough attention to it and it just went into the short-term memory. Your short-term memory only really can handle about 7 to 10 pieces of information at one time. Now, I'm going to tell you a secret. The reason why telephone numbers are 7 to 10, because that's all your short-term memory can hold. Short-term memory. And if you want to memorize a telephone number, which I've talked about before that we don't really have to because they have them in the phone, But back in the day when I was growing up, we didn't have these smartphones. We didn't even have cell phones. So you did have to memorize people's phone numbers. And the reason that they were the 7 digits, because before you have a whole lot of people populating the earth, it was only 7 digits. Now it's 10 because you have to remember the area code in front of it, because when you put area code, you have more numbers. Okay. But you can remember in your short-term memory. It remembers 7 to 10 bits of information in the short-term memory. Anything that is longer than that you've paid attention to and you want to remember, you store it in your long-term memory. So if I ask you right now to think back about your high school graduation, or something that was momentous in your life, your 21st birthday, or your first boyfriend, or your first girlfriend, or when you went to the prom, or the first time you got a job, or your first child you had. All of those things are memories that are stored in your long-term memory. Because guess what? You paid a lot of attention to that, and you stored it in your long-term memory. Things that you won't forget. So I'm going to help you, and I'm going to give you this little secret. If you're one of these people that say, I'm not good with names, I don't remember people's names, they'll tell me, but I'm good with faces. People say that all the time. They say, I'm not good with name, but I'm good with face. I remember your face. Let me tell you a secret. And so I took a memory class years and years ago to help me understand. Again, I've always been fascinated with this brain and how we work. And I took this class and I learned there were techniques that we can do that can help our brain to store information. Now, you say again, Dr. G, why are you telling me? Why do I need to know why my brain needs to be excited? Because you want to understand success. Well, in order to do that, you have to be able to understand how to control your brain and how to rewire it. So in the course, I learned some of the memory techniques, and I'm going to give them to you so you can remember somebody's name. So let me ask you this. I tell you what, if it's somebody that you think is really fine and you think she's really gorgeous, you're going to remember that person's name. You know why? Because all the perception that you have and all of the stimuli that you put together in your brain, and you paid a lot of attention, and you said, I'm not going to forget that name. So you put it in your long-term memory. That's how all of this works. So when you put this into your long-term memory, you're saying that's important to me. Just like what I'm telling you, I want you to store all of this that I'm telling you today and put it into your long-term memory. Now that you understand how the brain works, now let me tell you what you have to add to it in order for your brain to get excited. I gave you the example. We're walking in the fair. You have all of the perception. You're paying attention to what you want to pay attention to. Now you're putting it and storing it in a memory. What you have to include now to get that brain really going, you have to add in the element of emotions. Huh? Dr. G, I don't understand. Okay. So remember I said we're talking about 3 parts of the brain. So the limbic portion of your brain is what controls the emotions. When you add emotions, that helps with the learning. That helps with the feeling. That helps to drive your attention. And let me tell you, when you add the emotion into what your brain is processing, those feelings. So at that fair, it was this feeling of excitement that was going on, and I was comfortable. I was happy. It was nostalgic feelings. All of that excites the brain. So as you're crafting your success plan, I'm telling you how your brain works. There are things you're going to need to add into your plan that are going to get your brain excited. When your brain is excited, it's going to remember, it's going to know, it's going to want to learn. And these are also some techniques that you learn as a teacher, because you have to make all of the content and the lessons exciting for kids to want to learn them. So now, this was just a brief lesson. If you want to get your brain excited, add in those elements of emotion now that you know how your brain works. So I can't wait to tell you more about emotions. So definitely tune in next time. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And go to my website if you want more information, drgladney.com. Until the next time, I want you to have the most amazing day possible and get that brain excited.